Good afternoon, everyone. This is Sunny Mom in Florida. Today we're going to be having a pizza extravaganza. We're going to be making pizza dough and we're going to be making pizza sauce, and then we're going to be putting it all together and making a large pizza. So, sounds delicious, doesn't it? So let's get started. We will start with the ingredients we'll need for the pizza sauce, which includes olive oil, pepper, salt, Italian seasoning, garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper, sugar, and olive oil. 2 cans of 6-ounce tomato paste. And for the crust, just yeast, flour, and sea salt. First of all, we're going to add our 1 packet of yeast, or 1 tablespoon. Actually, a packet is 2 1/4, and I just put it out to a tablespoon because that's 3 teaspoons. Tablespoon of sugar, and 3/4 cup of warm water. And this is the trick. Try to get it right around 110 degrees. This is everything with bread making, otherwise it's not complicated. It will feel warm to your wrist if you try it on your wrist, and it'll be perfect. If it's too hot, then it keeps the yeast from growing. It kills the yeast. And it's what we're going to do after we stir this up, mix this up really well. We're going to cover it with a dish towel or whatever, and we're going to make sure the yeast is alive. And you can see it was blooming. It looked puffy there, and it looked like it was popping. So that means our yeast is alive. Now we add 2 cups of flour, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 3/4 teaspoon of salt, and we're going to mix that all together thoroughly. Make sure we scrape the bowl here in a second to get it all incorporated. And the mixer is actually kneading the flour right now, kneading the bread. And if you do not have a stand mixer, you can use a hand mixer, that's fine. Just takes a little more effort. The stand mixer is heavier and does a little more work for you, but you're going to accomplish the same thing. So let it mix around for a while. I would say at least 2 minutes. And that way you're getting, the dough is kneaded and it's getting ready to do what it needs to do. And so when we get it out on the counter, we want to knead it for a little bit. You don't have to knead it too long. Maybe turn it in 10 times. You see how you turn in the ends and then push it down in the middle and get the air in it, get it soft. You'll notice it starts to become more like bubble gum when it's about ready to go in the bowl, and the bowl is all lined with olive oil. So we put that down and then we coat it and flip it over, put the lid on tight on the bowl, and we can set that to the side. That'll rise for an hour, and we can get started on our pizza sauce, which is 2 cans of the 6-ounce tomato paste with 2 cups of water. And then I've done everything here together to make it time effective. We have 2 tablespoons of Italian seasoning, 1 1/4 tablespoon, and that was 2 tablespoons of Italian seasoning, and 1 tablespoon of onion powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of pepper, 1 tablespoon of sugar. And then we finally add in our 1 1/2 tablespoon of olive oil. And right here at this point, you've got to really mix it for a while, maybe a couple minutes with the whisk. Make sure the oil is turned in thoroughly. So this is a really important thing. This sauce tastes absolutely delicious. Now the dough is done rising, and so we'll sprinkle the counter with a little bit of flour. And I have been using regular all-purpose flour with this recipe. And then I kind of had weak hands, so I used the rolling pin to roll it out, because we're going to have a large pizza here. And so I like it more on the thin side, but again, that's what's good about being your own cook or your own baker. You can be creative and you can make it what you want. If you want it smaller and thicker, you can do that. Just whatever you decide. So we want to roll that out to get to our size. And you can tell that I do not have any Italian blood because this doesn't come so easy for me, this part. But I want to try to get it the right size for my pizza pan. You'll see in a minute. And then I turn up the edges so it'll hold the goodies in. So we almost got it here. And then we're gonna put this on our pan. And because of my lack of Italian blood and my lack of skill with the pizza dough, I use the rolling pin a little bit more to get it fixed out to the edges, and then crimp that up on the edges. Till we get that all set. This is the anticipation's getting close now. We're almost ready to have our pizza done. It will go in the oven at 450 for about 15 minutes. And you'll check it and see what the crust is doing, and then you'll know what you need to do. Now we have the sauce here, and I'll be using about half of the sauce and freezing the other half. And this is just a slight bit tricky because you don't want to get too much sauce because it makes the pizza too heavy and soggy. So when you have those white lines in it, you're probably getting it about right. And you want to smooth it out to the edges. And you don't want to get too little because then the pizza tastes too dry and you can't taste the sauce. But this sauce is superb, and there's just nothing like having fresh ingredients and being able to do what you want to do, and you can come up with any toppings that you want. And the next thing I do is to put mozzarella cheese shreds on top. And by the time I get done, I will have used about a half a pound of mozzarella cheese because I'm putting this on now, and then I'm going to put the toppings, and then I'm going to put a few bits on top when we finally get all of the toppings. But this will definitely be a supreme pizza with the toppings that we like. And our family doesn't like mushrooms, and we're not too hot on pineapple, but if you drain your pineapple and dry it out, you can put the pineapple chunks on top. But right now I'm doing sausage. I had already cooked and prepared the sausage and made sure I put it on a paper towel, took all the grease out. I love sausage. I know it's not good for you, but I love it. And then these are chopped up onions that I had in my freezer ready to go. But I put them in the microwave for about a minute to kind of soften them up. And then I sliced up green peppers and put those in the microwave for about a minute to soften those up. So they'll be all ready to go when the pizza's done. And now we're putting on our pepperoni. And again, you could have each circle right next to each other, or you could space it out like this, just whatever you like. And you could do it on just half the pizza, or you could divide the pizza in thirds and make each third with different toppings depending on what family members like. And kids love to put their own toppings on. It's kind of like a creative project. And here's the little bit of mozzarella. Okay, it's time to come out of the oven. The oven has been on 450 for close to 15 minutes. So we'll grab that out of the oven. It's super piping hot. Be careful. If you haven't done pizza before, it's very, very hot. You know that if you get a pizza from the pizza restaurant, how hot it is. Enjoy.